Okay, Tal says it down there below. One down, one to go. Yeah, 'cause I'm still asking people if they know of any video, non-music video, music video, whatever, of a girl's face morphing, changing into a fruit face, inanimate objects, you name it. Sort of in the similar vein of Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, but from a female perspective. 'Cause I have a feeling there is one out there, I just don't know where. And if you say Borjak, or Bodrak, or Bo, Bajrak, Bajrak, Bjrok, or Barak, if you whatever her name is. Yeah, she's similar, but you kind of get what I'm getting at. Not Barak or anything like that, but someone that might be similar in that vein, paying to what Peter did with Sledgehammer and such. But anyway, it's like I said, one down, one to go. And what I mean by one down is you might recall that I've asked through text here on YouTube and all that if anybody knew of a scene from a movie that I knew. I mean, I'll be honest to God with you here. I saw it back when I was a kid. Now, I thought I'd seen this back in the 80s. Apparently, I was wrong. Apparently, it came out in the 90s, mostly early 90s, like late 89, 90. How do I know this? Because I saw it on television back around 90, 91, I believe. That's the only years I could think of. Late 90, early 91 is when I saw the movie on television. But I remember the scene where you had this guy and this girl. They met each other on a train. They both went into bed together on that train in one of the rooms on the train. They went under the covers, got it on, if you know what I mean. And what I remember was just a huge, what I thought at the time was a huge group of gangsters just showing up and shooting up the door and all that. But hey, I was like, what, 10, 11 years old at the time? So I didn't really know. And it was the scene. The scene was exactly as I remember, but not actually how I remember. I mean, I remember the shooting at the door and all that, and then I remember at the end the girl saying that it was wonderful. She felt the earth move. I remember all that, but um, the accurateness of remembering how the scene went or what was in the scene kind of threw me off. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, like I said, the accuracy of remembering how the scene looked and who was involved changed a bit because, like I said, everything was there just like I remember, but it was a different. It was a different way because I remember it was like on one side, it was like okay, this side is where they were firing at on the scene, but when I was a kid, I remember it from them doing it from this side. I know that sounds confusing, but getting to the point, I've been wanting to know people who knew about that scene and where it came from, what movie it come from. Well, someone advised me to go to Reddit, so I went to Reddit, and this was also because I'm looking for that video and all that. But they said go to Reddit, so I took the advice. I went to Reddit, and not once but twice I put this down. I had to put in a what was it not quotation, but something like that, little half rectangles, if you will. Had to put in almost quotation wise movie and put down what I was looking for and kind of describe it. And lo and behold, someone came up with Bullseye. Yeah, the 1990 movie Bullseye with Michael Caine and Roger Moore. And when I look at the movie, I'm thinking, no, this can't be it. So I kept looking at it at first. I'm thinking, okay, good try. Don't see anything. Until I got to basically the 58-minute mark. And that's when I saw it. And then it just suddenly came back to me that this is exactly the scene. At 58 minutes to the 58-minute mark in the film is the scene that I remember. But again, like I say, the accuracy of remembering it the way I thought I saw it back as a kid to now seeing it as an adult kind of vague. Because like I said, I've seen it one way but now I'm seeing it the way it was originally was. And again, that's just me. That's just me. You know, being a kid, you remember things being a certain way, but then when you look back on it, it's actually, it is kind of how you remember it, but differently. Like you might remember one thing, and then when you see it again, it's exactly how you remember it, but it's, in a different scenario than what you remember. So, anyway, someone on Reddit uh, pointed it out that it could be bullseye, but the way it was being described, and I looked, and like I said, I thought at first it wasn't there, and lo and behold, it was. At the 58-minute mark, it was. Between the 58 and 59-minute mark, it was there. And you might ask yourself, well, Brian, why were you so obsessed with this? Well, it was something that I've been thinking on and off about for years and years. It's like I knew I'd seen this scene before. I knew I saw it as a kid. I mean, honestly, I thought I saw it back in the 80s. And I remember because I remember seeing it when we were visiting my grandparents one time. And to me, it was like, why was this stuck in my head? Why was this, among some other things, one of those things that I remember watching and seeing and just remembering and just can't get out of my head? I think it's because of the way it was done. The way it was done. And basically you have the female that's under the sheets with the guy. After the guns have done firing and all that, you have her speaking, and at the same time she's speaking, she's kind of moving up and down like with her foot or something. Like she basically, when she moves up and says something, that's when she speaks. Like she's become one with the sheet or something like that. I don't know. And it was just one of those movies I could not get out of my mind. I couldn't. Now, again, you can understand that. You guys can understand it because sometimes I know I'm not the only one out there that remembers certain things a certain way, but needs to be convinced that that's how I saw it. That it's something that let's say you watch a movie or a show, even if it's a movie or show that gets forgotten in the annals of time, especially in the movie industry or the television industry, if it's something that gets forgotten, sometimes there's always one thing that sticks in your head that makes you remember that movie, even though you can't really remember what that movie was about. So I want to thank the person at Reddit for doing this, for helping me out there, because I knew it was something. I knew it was between the 80s. I know that because you could tell just the way the movie is filmed. It was the 80s. It was the 1980s, no doubt. Even though it was released in '90, it was the 1980s. And I'll tell you how I kept knowing about this and wanting to figure out what movie it was from. Back when I lived in Kansas, I purchased this movie called Bullshot. Now, it has a similar scenario, but it's different. So I purchased Bullshot thinking, oh, okay, this might be the movie. It had a train, everything, but it wasn't. But surprisingly, the movie that does have it has the word bulls in it. It has the word bulls in it. And it's like, are you serious? Are you serious? It's like, I couldn't believe it. But anyway, long story short, for years and years, it was just something that it just got stuck in my mind. It's like that one thing that gets stuck in your mind. Like I said, even though people may forget about the movie, may forget about the show, but there's always that one thing that sticks in your mind that makes you know that you had seen it somewhere. That you know you'd seen that scene from somewhere, you just couldn't remember. And sometimes it's from something that people want to forget, yet you can't. But anyway, I do want to thank the Reddit user that got me here. And yeah, one down, one to go. Hopefully now people can help me out on this next one. And hopefully the goals will be complete. It's hard to believe. After 25 years of thinking about that one scene, having that one scene for some odd reason stuck in my mind, stuck in my head. It's like a song that you can't. It's like a beat of a song that you can't just get out of your head for a while. To finally find the movie it belongs to. So I want to thank the Reddit users that got me there. I want to thank anybody that's tried to help me out. I know you guys did your best. And I will talk to you later. And like I said, one down, one to go. Let's hoping to find the video, music or non-music video, of a woman's face turning into a fruit vase or an inanimate objects and stuff like that becomes reality next. So thank you all, and God bless.